All right, ladies and gents, welcome back to Two PTs One Podcast with myself, Mike, and my co-host, Miles Harrison. Oh, and my social media is already buzzing, which is quite funny because social media is our topic today. So
Woo.
we're going to be discussing the good, the bad, and the ugly, as we're going to name it, of all sides of social media. Because I think, especially in the last couple of weeks, I mean, even for lockdown itself, I think it's been really an interesting topic because I haven't really watched the news in a couple of weeks because I just hate watching the news. So everything I'm pretty much learning right now is either on the Sky Sports News app or on social media.
I mean, that's the only news you should be watching anyway, is Sky Sports News.
Yeah, it's the important stuff anyway.
Yeah.
But it's the main method that people are actually getting information in, whether it be normal news or I think especially in the last couple of weeks, it's been conflict with people selling products.
Yeah, I think it's always been that. I don't think it's been a couple of weeks. I think it's always been that ever flow of social media always been there in the background, and people have debated about something that someone said, someone has sold something and stuff like that. But there's been, yeah, in the last few kind of, let's say, lockdown periods, there's definitely been a few things on the market at the moment that has probably heated a lot of people in the fitness industry.
Yeah,
Fad diets, needles, detox, malarkey.
and like this is a different realm to like your normal Herbalife reps. Like you'll always have them reps no matter what you do, but it's more of the people. Like I think it's even better with the Herbalife because they actually know. Although it's crap, no, hear me out on this one.
I'm hearing you out.
It's better to be a Herbalife rep that yes, it's crap, but they understand the crap than some social media person that doesn't understand what the product is. They just promote it anyway.
Uh, I guess that's debatable. I'll agree to disagree on that one.
Because you'll have all these people that will come out and be like, funnily enough, I've just had the same conversation with someone about if they grow an IG following and they find that their fitness photos get more following and more likes, that's the route they're going to go down. But just because you get more likes doesn't mean that you know what you're talking about. And those people that are already at the top doing other domains and feel like, oh yeah, fitness. Oh, right now everyone needs to lose weight. Someone's going to pump some fitness product across my desk.
Yeah. And the thing is with these social media thing is, it's like they have a kind of algorithm to them.
Mm,
So if these things get more popularized, so Instagram are naturally just by the kind of coding that it is, it's naturally going to flush it out.
yeah.
Um, I mean, have you ever seen that Netflix documentation called what's it called now? Um, The Social Dilemma. Is it Social Dilemma?
No, I was going to watch it,
Oh,
but
mate, it's mint. It was definitely an eye opener, and I think this is where this kind of topic for me kind of stemmed from, because I think how long has social media been around for? It started off with Facebook, then
oh yeah,
it's been
for free.
15 plus years now.
Yeah, but I mean, like back in the day, it wasn't used for anything other than talking to
Yeah,
like your friends and family. But now it's like you're out and about, and especially for like me and you right now, it's a way of expanding our businesses,
yeah,
which I think is the worst thing for me. It's like I'm having to try and impress myself, impress other people to like promote my own business or give them value, but then I don't know what value they want because I can have a following and an unfollowing every single day, and I'm like, I don't know what you want. I might be promoting stuff or like pushing value on stuff that I just really can't be asked to post about. But my main goal overall is to help people. But I don't know what people want to help
yeah. There's
with.
that kind of conflict between stuff that you want to put out,
Mm,
the things that you're following. I mean, for any business to strive, they've got to give answer to a solution. Um, and obviously, if you're following, a lot of your following want to follow. Yeah, the sun is bright in my eyes. If you got a lot of these people like asking for a certain type of question, the people who are going to get the best responses to them questions, are generally going to do well. Um, but sometimes, as humans do in general, we ask the wrong questions, and we tend to ask the wrong questions because of different things, insecurities, impatience. There's a lot of things, to be fair. Um, I generally, in the grand scheme of things, I think social media is brilliant. I think it's, like you said, it was originally made to be a platform that we could make the world smaller. We could see people that we couldn't really see all the time, get in touch with family and friends and stuff like that that we might not be able to touch on. I think it's brilliant. And I can't remember who said this. I think it might have been James Smith. Um, but for me, I think social media itself as a tool isn't the issue. You described it as like it's almost like describing it as a knife. You can either use it two kind of like ways. Like one, you can obviously like spread butter on your toast or something like that, or you could spread your enemies. It's like it's not the tool itself that's bad, but it's the way you use it is bad. And I think the way that social media has developed, especially with things like Instagram and stuff like that, where we've come to known in this world as quick responses, this quick dose of dopamine with pictures and likes and comments and
Mm.
shares and stuff like that. It's not created, but I think it's discovered a whole load of an issue that probably was there in the background, but it's a lot more could on from. And I think that's probably like insecurities in people and stuff like that.
Even on a general though, I feel like a lot of people will put their top priorities and their top photos on, and it's like having a funnel system. No,
Yeah.
I'll say a room a room in a house. So you've just bought a house and you decorate the shit out of this room, and the rest of the house looks like crap. But all you're going to promote is that one room in that house.
Yeah, you're gonna put your best foot forward on it and
Yeah,
stuff like that. I mean, like that's what we do. Um,
but I've
you
been in that
want to be
exact
your best
situation.
presented.
I've been in that exact situation. I was on ships and I was putting photos on my Instagram of all these random places I'd been to and all these nice places. I'm like, and then everyone would like message or comment saying, "Oh my God, I'm so jealous." I'm like, then there's me that's running back to the ship to work 7 days a week, but I'm not going to be out here posting photos whilst I'm at work and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
People only the really narrow sighted when it comes to posting and what they see. And if unless it's going to catch their attention, which I mean, a lot of obviously Instagram work is going to be trying to catch people's attention, they're not going to bother with it. Like no
Yeah.
one's going to want to see you sitting in a really small cabin trying to rest after you've been outside all day for like 12 hours and you sunburned to hell. Like,
I think that's like all my holiday photos. That me somewhere. Put that 50/50 on.
but it's a dark hole. And yes, I understand that it's a really good tool for those that can use it, but then it's like,
What kind of world are you getting yourself into?
yeah. And I'm like, I'm trying to chase loose ends, I think, by the end of it, because I'm just trying to fit. I'm sitting here, probably literally at this point, staring at my screen and just being like, right, what content do I need to make, or can I make, or how can I improve everything to reach a wider people so that I can actually make my business?
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference between growing to something, like you grow your business, you grow your development as a person and stuff like that. And then there's a difference between chasing something where you almost feel like it's like chasing for that validation. And we've
Mm,
all been there. Like I'll be open to the fact that like when you do social media posts and stuff like that, and you go through a new niche or you're trying to do new things and stuff like that, or the climate environment does because someone else has done this, or someone a bit more further on in your life has started to do this, and you want to kind of compare yourself subconsciously. It does affect you in that kind of way. And whether you are a business owner or not, when you look at social media, you are, whether you're aware of it or not, you're constantly comparing yourself to someone. And
yeah,
that's, like you said, it's their best foot forward. You don't understand the 7 hours of work life stress and stuff like that. That person might have a great physique, but you don't realize the stuff that they're taking or the lifestyle or the sacrifices that they have to make to get that perfect angle and lighting. There's now apps out there that enhance photographs to the point of manipulation of facial structures. Um, Facetune is one of them,
mm,
and I downloaded it myself actually, They're like, yeah, spoiler alert, no, I haven't done anything like that. But I mean, like, because obviously for me, like, you're not going to, I'm not going to manipulate my body and stuff like that. Anyway, it'd be stupid to do that. But obviously for me, like, I want to make sure that the pictures I have got, whether it is from developing on poster to convert, they're clear, they're crystal clear, and they're setting out the point that I'm trying to make.
Mm.
And then when I came across this feature of like changing your structure and stuff, like obviously you go to explore it, and it is amazing in the fact that they can literally pinpoint, like they can recognize your face, and then like you can change it. But I can imagine like some people take it to the extreme of like changing it on like on a picture that when they go on a night out, or picture when they take a top off and stuff like that, or when they're getting a bum pick or something like that. It is, like you said, a dark hole for people to go into and stuff like that.
Just in the factor of like someone editing a photo, for me, it's got two ways. You're either going to motivate people, or you're going to make them feel absolutely shit.
Yeah, but also as well, even if you do motivate people, I think if you're doing it in that kind of way, where the point when you're manipulating your own body, you're motivating them in the wrong ways,
Mm.
and it's false advertising. It
But I
is.
think,
It's false. You're selling a lie.
and then falling back into, obviously, because this is a general fitness podcast, we can draw it in a little bit. Instagram's not regulated like online coaching is. Like you could literally become an online coach by putting in your bio, I'm an online coach. And there's no regulations out there for Instagram to say, like, unless you're doing something ridiculous, you can post a photo on there and it's just going to stay on there. Obviously, if you're in there calling people nasty stuff, you're probably going to get banned. But in terms of you editing a photo, like, there's no regulation. And it's like, hi guys, yeah, I got in such great shape because I did no cardio. I spent 7 hours editing my photo. You can do it too. Like,
Yeah.
there's oh, I don't even know how to say it because it just frustrates me. And
It's
the fact that I don't
it's
know
a
what to put.
reflection of like, especially this day and age, where so many people want that quick response and stuff like that. Um, and no one at the moment, no one's taking the patience to get real results and stuff like that.
Mm.
I mean, the way it's designed, like you've got to be flashy as hell. You've got to do something different, and if you don't do it well, you become just like all the others, and you fall by the wayside. Like I know a lot of people. I know a load of great PTs, coaches that have not got the greatest of all followers and stuff like that. But then someone else, whether they've got because they're pretty, they got a good physique, um, and they're doing everything they can to please, like you said, the customers and stuff like that, or the people and their following. They're getting a hell load and stuff like that. Um, but it's also created this sense of artificial validation. Like I don't know whether you kind of like consciously notice it and stuff like that, but like when you do create content and stuff like that, you're like, right, why did this post not make 50 odd likes? Why does this post not make a couple of hundred and stuff like that? Why
Yeah,
does that post get more likes? Why is this post getting comments? Why is someone unfollowing? And yeah, it's if you allow it and if you don't put restraints on yourself, I think like anything really, you can fall very, very dark and stuff like that. And I think it's only been the last few years that people start to really notice it. I mean, like when if you watch that social dilemma, like every single of the ones who made the development of that app, who made the coding for the app, have all not let their children or their family on the app. I think that says a lot of things.
I need to
Uh,
watch this.
it's and the thing is like these apps are intelligent. They are made to grab your attention.
Oh yeah.
If you're not on it for a while and stuff like that, it'll send you notifications like your friend has just done this, um, and stuff like that. And it's it's great. Like I said, it's a great way to keep in touch with everyone. I love the fact that I can see friends and family that I've not seen for a while and see them doing well and stuff like that. But at the same time as well, like it's made me very attached to my phone in the ways that I don't want it. I mean, obviously, like I said to you like the other day recently and stuff like I've turned all notifications off on my phone.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I'm on that path now.
yeah, and I put a limiter on the fact that I'm only on it from 9 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. And the things that I've only been doing this for probably like less than a week now. And the things that I've noticed straight away is the fact that once it comes 9 o'clock at night, every time I stop doing something, I'm constantly reacting to my phone. I've come to grab at it. And I don't think I've got a very unhealthy thing with it. I don't think I'm like very constantly like I've got to constantly like be on this. I've got to constantly do that and stuff like that. But when you notice it, it is worrying.
Yeah.
It is
I
worrying in
think
that
for
sense.
us as well as coaches, it's a lot worse because you feel like you're obliged to like just reply and get back to clients. And I'm like, I know this is a job, and it's like I'd still have working hours as a job. Like, yes, I might stretch over to a weekend and do like 6, 7 days a week, but I have to have some time away from my phone.
You got to put yourself first.
Mm,
And it's amazing. Like the moment you start doing that, like you putting yourself first, you'll always get that one person like, oh, how come you didn't reply to me straight away and stuff like that. It's like because I've turned off my notifications. I'm away from my phone. I'm doing work. And I know that's not nothing on you. It's the person itself in question. But I just think at the moment, I think it's very good for your mental health, physical health, any kind of health to step away from the phone and be in the present moment, be in now. Because when you're on that phone, you're not.
yeah.
You're looking at different people's timelines and not yours.
And I think it's even hard now because I'm like, why do I even need to be on social media? Like, nothing's going on. Everyone's stuck at home. It's
Yeah.
only in terms of a learning process for me of like understanding more training stuff, nutrition stuff, and like seeing what other coaches are doing in terms of content, just to get some inspiration for myself. But to see what other people are doing, I know what they're doing. They're
Oh,
sitting at
I
home.
love the fact that Brenda's gone for a third walk this day.
Yeah. Like, why am I even asked about this? Like, I'm looking at it and I'm just like, it's daft. So I think I'm now gonna do the notification thing with Instagram and Facebook. I did it with BBC News the other week because I was just like, I'm sick of seeing the news. I'm just sick of it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I had this conversation with my mother actually over the weekend, and I was just like, why do you want to put on something that is made to get a response out of you? Why it's going to put everything negative into the world. And I know the news is not always like that. I mean, there's some good things, but if you look at generally, if you watch it from a point of view, most things are on it as stuff like this has happened, this is bad, this number of his cases and stuff like that. Why would you want to be constantly reminded about the bad things in life? It's almost like you're looking for it. And I
yeah,
think a lot of people without realize do. They like that chaos in their life. And I've stopped watching the news for years. And like you said, the only news I generally like to watch is Sky Sports News.
well, I think I had the same conversation with my mum, and I was just like, I couldn't actually remember what was happening on the news before all this kicked off, and I'm like, what's going on in Afghanistan? Like, what's going on in these wars? Like, I've not got a clue.
Yeah.
And like, it's just
Yeah,
a
that's what I
priority
mean.
list that they
Like
put.
they pick for what you want to see. And yeah, exactly. It's that funnel thing you were talking about before. It makes everyone so narrow-minded. Um, exact same happened last year with the the Amazon rainforest.
Mm,
Say it happened a couple of years ago with the swine flu and stuff like that. Like once it's not mainstream and it hasn't got that resource, boom, it's out.
yeah,
Something in the new.
the Australian fires, and it's like, oh yeah, here,
That's it.
you need to donate. Oh, I know the fires are over now. We're not going to talk about it anymore. We're not going to talk about how they're recovering or how many people have died. Now it's none of your concern, and we're not in a position to try and make money from you. I mean, obviously, they're not in the direct version of saying, here, donate. It's always putting it into your mind to make sure that you're thinking about it and you're in a position. That's why you'll always see like your RSPCA, your NSPCC, your buy a fucking donkey videos on the adverts, especially when you're doing something good, because it'll bring you back down to earth and make you realise that there's more going on, and they're in a constant position to just go and push you down mentally, and you, at the end of it all, it will be economically. Obviously, this is going very political, but the same is going on social media in the fact that yes, you have the choice of who you follow, but then because someone's been on Love Island, they're now promoting the products, and you can see them in a bikini shot in Dubai when they should be at home sitting in the house.
But I think it's again to that politics. It is good and bad. Like for example, like obviously the recent Black Lives Matter, like it
Yeah,
was a statement that needed to be made. Um,
but then
again,
that's all you heard
people took
about.
it to that, huh?
That's all you heard about for like 4 or 5 weeks whilst all the protests were going on. That was the main, and then all of a sudden it's just dropped off, and the only thing I hear about that is footballers dropping the knee, and it's like nothing's really changed for them. Yes, there's a new president, but you still need to put priority on this. And yet, oh no, because it's not a concern anymore, we're back to Corona.
Yeah, it's just it is, and it's a much bigger thing than us. I mean, like we could literally moan about it for hours on end and stuff like that, but I don't see a result, a solution for this coming anytime soon. Obviously, now with like let's say recent updates and stuff like that, Apple has put like a thing that tells you like where how long you spend on your phone, how many times you picked it up and stuff like that. And unless you're a stat nerd like myself and you love seeing stuff like that, that'll fall by the wayside. Um, but again, like I think there's a lot of people know about this than is pointed out. But a lot of people don't try to participate.
Participate.
There we go. In their own rescue.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, if they just limit themselves away from the phones and just spend a little bit more time on themselves, either whether they do their hobbies, they do the little walks and stuff like that, they journal, they meditate, all the stuff that gets you focusing on yourself, we'll see a lot of things like the reduction of suicides and stuff like that going down. We'll see a lot reduction of mental health. Again, probably social media. That's a good thing about probably social media. It brought that to attention because it was something that was undercovered, and because of this, maybe not the right way of bringing to attention, but it definitely made it more apparent.
But in the same respect, I've not heard about it on the news.
But yeah, that's what I mean. That's like
It's all Corona
I
talk.
say this like I watch it. I don't. I literally. If the only time I ever watch anything on TV is literally like series, things that I want to watch, documentaries and stuff like that. And the more I try to get into my research or anything that I enjoy, I'll go more away from stuff. I'll go from podcasts, audiobooks, books.
Because I don't know. Sorry, this is going to go off social media, but I'd be very curious to see where the funding for news and media comes from. I imagine it'll be the government.
There'll be TV licenses, won't it?
I've got to imagine they'll get some from the government though,
I'm not really
like the Guardian,
Yeah, but that's
like
the same
Daily
with the
Mail.
Guardian. I mean, like,
But then, in the same respect, is obviously they're going to put out what the government tells them to put out. In the same respect of like you're watching the news reports and all this, and like when Boris gets to his podium, like they'll show all the negatives just to put some freaking fear in them, because that's where the money's coming from. You know what? I'm sorry. You can keep on talking. I'm gonna Google it real quick.
oh god, you put me on the spot here, mate.
No,
Like,
sorry. No. We're on about. Oh
but
shit.
it's. I think it's an underlined to something a lot deeper. I think going back onto the whole social media topic and stuff like that. I think if people did put like, if they put restraint, if they did do it in the right way, whether that right way is clear yet or not, and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not 100% sure what would be the best solution really to solve all this. Like I said, I think it's something that's massively, massively bigger than all of us at the moment. And it's taken over a lot of people's lives straight away. I mean, teenagers like that constantly are glued. Obviously now, like for example, like our age, we literally spend like half of our life in it now. They've spent their whole life. They don't know anything else. They've been programmed a specific way to respond to the way that the world works at the moment. And
Got any
hopefully,
other choice though at the minute?
that's what I
That's
mean.
the
But
issue.
hopefully in the future, like there'll be a rebound where people will start to see the kind of hopefully their own ways and start understanding their own feeling towards it and stuff like that. I think it's starting because I think, like I said, a lot more people are apparent with it and stuff like that. I mean, documentaries like that, social media. I mean, again, anything that is a documentary from like Netflix isn't a great source of education, but it's a thought of mind.
Sorry, I'm going down a rabbit hole here mid podcast. So the Guardian got a load of like millions of support from a Bill Gates organization. So now I'm like, oh, Bill Gates on coronavirus would be very interesting being granted one of the richest people in the world. He's what, third now?
But
Musk is number one. Bezos is two. But anyway, I think everyone knows that the media is out to basically just make people feel like shit. That's a known fact. So I think social media. I wish there was a point where you could turn off sponsorships.
yeah, but it won't.
Never
That's
will.
what I mean. It's advertising and stuff like that. I
Mm.
mean, like again, someone out there's got to make money from all this and stuff like that. And in a way, like it does, you do feel like at times like you are a little lab, like a lab rat. Like you get tested with things and stuff like that. Like
They see what you're viewing and seeing what you
yeah,
like. And like if you
um,
like or view certain stuff, it'll put it in your suggesteds and
yeah. But it's like it's scary. Even like our devices and stuff like you could be saying something like your conversation to someone, and the next thing you notice, like on the advertising bit of the Instagram, there'll be the thing that you talked about. You didn't even search or anything like that.
don't say it
Like,
because I've got an Alexa over there.
yeah, Lexus always listen to your friend.
I can't see if she turned on or not. If you hear her voice in a second, it'll be her. But no, I feel the same. I only play mine for music. I don't check anything else with it because I'm like, what else is she gonna know? Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it's such a tricky and a fine line topic to talk about, but it does make good for discussion.
yeah, because
But
obviously, I
I
mean,
think, like I said, I don't think it's all bad. I think a lot of businesses are going to go online, and the way they're going to have to advertise is through social media. I mean, we're doing it right now. We're trying to make sure that the content that we do put benefits people's lives, but at the same time as well, we're trying to grow a business.
yeah,
It's
which is hard.
it works on both ways. It's a partnership. But as there's good people in the world trying to do it, there's a lot of shit in the world trying to do it as well. Um, and I think because people will try to sell on insecurities, a lot of people will fall for these kind of traps, and these traps will get more views than the right information.
And sex sells as well, which is the worst thing. Obviously, not you're not having sex on Instagram, but like putting booty pictures on and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, could you imagine if you were at a point where me and Miles started doing that, and especially Miles as a performance aspect, you're not going to have you doing that. But then if you were shown a video of you running, it'd be a completely different concept because then you're not going to reach half the audience. They'll be like, "Oh my God, Miles, it's such a great body."
Yeah, well, that's definitely not happening. Um,
Well, can you see what I mean?
yeah, exactly. In like, it's yeah, it's just the way the world is at the moment. I mean, like, in a jokingly sense, like, if you are a good-looking person, you are going to naturally do well on Instagram. There's no hiding about it. You can say I'm jealous and stuff like that, but it's true. Like, if you're visually appealing and you're ready to flunk it, then people are going to be attached onto that.
Mm.
Um, but what does that say about the person? Like,
Do-
it's
I don't. I
it's
don't.
a dark hole to go down that kind of route and stuff like that. And I'm not shaming anyone in the slightest, but it's human nature. It's,
I just don't want to stay. I'm not here to stereotype people whatsoever. I am not here to do that. But if you're in a position where just because you look good or you're in a like your body composition is in a good point, it doesn't mean you're in a position to tell other people how to do it.
it it depends. It depends on that. I mean,
If you've got the backing,
if you got a degree in it and not a degree, I'm looking great, but if you got a degree in, let's say, sports science, or
qualifications,
you've done your level three PT and you've done your level three nutrition and you've done all this and you've done all that, and you can back it up with clear cut strategies and information and coming from a place of heart where you're trying to clearly help the person that's reading it, then it's acceptable. But I think these people, like, and a lot of these people are now getting sussed out about it, where they just change the lighting, they blow the belly out, and they've got a nice, lovely pink package right there. I mean, I think that won't go away. I think people are becoming more aware of it now because people are, especially social media. Social media is starting to become a place of people are like keyboard warriors, where if one bad thing happens, everyone slates them.
yeah.
Um, I agree and disagree on it. I think people that do try to get fraud out are should be found out. I think there's a way and means about it.
Interesting one. Like, how much do you know about YouTubers?
YouTubers,
Yeah.
what content?
So, like, I'm not going to talk about Jake Paul, but like Logan Paul.
Oh man, I mean, like, again, I mean, like,
Jake Paul's a different animal because he's just let everything go to
yeah,
his
but
head, and now he's
that's
trying to
what the thing
call out
is.
fucking McGregor.
It's all for entertainment. I think he's that solid, not bad.
Mm.
Um, but I've grown up with YouTubers. I've grown up with people like KSI, for example, and I've always a lot of people like if I put his music on in gym and stuff like people like proper slate me for it. But I mean, like, he's similar age to me. He's gone from doing something that he really enjoys, which was obviously gaming and stuff like that, and he's gone into different elements, boxing, music, and you look at him when he was younger and stuff. And he's openly came out if you watch his videos, and he's gone like, right, I wasn't this, but I worked on it and done this and done that. And a lot of people are hated on that fact. It's like, oh, he's a YouTuber. He shouldn't be doing boxing. He shouldn't be doing this. But I'm just like, nah, that's brilliant. That's like, if anything, that should give the people who are viewing it the confidence to go and try things, to go and explore, to try new elements. I mean, like, even for example, like myself and stuff, I like, for a majority of my life, art was my thing.
Yeah.
I thought my life was going to be full of paintings and easels and stuff like that. But I picked up a dumbbell. I came in love with the process. I came enjoyed with it. It took me over in that kind of sense.
But
And
then
then
you
I
can
saw like
integrate.
the fact that I enjoyed the fact that when people came to ask me about advice and stuff like that, it was great. It was a satisfying process to see people improve. And that's why I made it my career and stuff like that. But we're going back onto the YouTube thing. I mean, like, again, you've dared to like the person in watching. And because it's free content, brilliant. You're going to see a lot of good stuff, but you're going to see the bad stuff. Um, just like social media.
But then on the flip side, this is the thing that really I don't understand about social media, especially when they say they don't like people. And I'm like, you're not forced to follow them. You're not forced to watch them. You're not forced to like the photos. Just don't follow them and don't pay
Yeah,
attention to
and
what's going
people,
on.
I do hear that a lot. People are obliged to follow people on Instagram.
Because we had this conversation with Georgia, didn't we, on the mental health podcast,
Yeah, bugger
saying,
off.
well,
The notifications on your phone, turn it
oh,
off.
no, no, I've got like a motivational app on my phone, so it'll just send me a motivational quote now and again during the day. Because
Nah, you're
what
just playing Clash
notification
of
comes
Clans,
through
mate.
at 11:24? But no, I think with Georgia we were saying if they don't, what was it? If they don't bring you joy or value, unfollow
Delete
them.
them.
Yeah, like the majority of people I've got on my phone now, people I know, or other coaches, or people of a higher level of education and understanding within my industry.
Yeah, but even still, like, it all depends. If they bring you value, great, have them around because that's gonna add. But if you see anything, whether that's there's a difference between devaluing yourself because of it and challenging yourself through it. And I think, especially like us men and stuff like that, we grow through challenge. If someone tells us we're not good enough or something, there's an ego within us to go, right, let's prove them wrong.
It's like a battle of the alphas, isn't it?
No, the alpha men, poor. But even sense is just like that. If it's like, yeah, just if you don't like the person or if you don't like what they're doing and stuff like that, then fine, don't support them and stuff like that. Like,
Mm.
and if they get dishonest about it, then that's their issue and not yours. You do need to put yourself first in that kind of sense.
But then I think, especially now, because a lot of people are in positions where they're having to fight for their businesses, be in a position where if you can support someone, support them. It doesn't matter how much support you give, if it's a like, a comment, or anything, or even just giving feedback. I would love any level of feedback, whether it's positive or negative, and being
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean. It's the kind of yes and no aspect of it and stuff like that. It's the which values are good and which values are bad. And I'm not completely slating social media and slightest. Like I've said multiple times in this podcast, I think it's a great tool. I just think it needs to be managed better.
yeah,
And especially for younger generations, they need to there needs to be some kind of like cap on it. Or like you said before, if they're putting stuff in their bio, where they're putting pictures on and stuff like that, it can't just be a simple thing of click, double, right, and then go. Because I reckon if there was more kind of structure to it like that, you probably would see less people on the social media, so that probably won't happen. But you'll probably see a lot of benefits from mental health and stuff like that getting involved with it as well.
but the funny thing is, I think from Instagram, you're literally shown accounts for different countries. So like even with fitness, I'll be shown different like videos. But Facebook, I don't get anything. I literally only see what I like, which I think is really good. Now my personal socials aren't really used that often anymore. I literally just use mine for business prospects. But you can, if it's Instagram, I'll still see content which they'll try and make me um like absorb, and I'm like, why do I need to see this? I don't. So like I get stuck following people or I get random follows, which is probably the most annoying thing for me on Instagram, is when people follow you and unfollow you to get you to like their page.
Oh man, yeah, that's the worst. They'll follow you, they'll like a few photos, comment on them, and then they'll delete you, and then a few days later they'll follow you again. I mean, like I understand there's business tactics to developing your thing. I will say I probably fallen short to that as well. But the moment I caught myself doing it, or when it finally came to sense, there's
Yeah.
no point. I'd rather grow my business organically and take more time with it, knowing that I'm following my own values than following someone else's values or algorithms and stuff like that, because I know that it's going to make me happy. I'm
Like I'm
not
on
going to
this
be.
I'm on this marketing thing with a guy, Ollie Carson. I'll drop that one in. But it's on about all the processes and everything else, and it's like it just opens your mind. And then it also, I think, because you've got like a Facebook page for it as well, which is probably one of the other reasons that I'd have a Facebook page. I literally have my open Hokkaido page, my closed one for clients, and this group. That is probably the only times I will actually use Facebook, which should realistically be the only way. If it's not bringing you joy or it's not bringing you value, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think to be fair, like, without rambling on so much, without rambling on so much, I think we need to obviously put this to a kind of a close at the moment, because I think we're saying the same things but in different kind of ways.
Yeah.
So quick question. Yes or no? Don't give me anything else. Would you, if you had a choice now, would you keep social media or not? Or wish it was invented or not? And if anyone is watching this and listening to this, I would love to hear your answer. So
Yeah, I was gonna
DM
say,
me, DM Mike, because
put it in the,
I
if
think
you're
it's
on
a
YouTube,
very
put it in the
interesting
comments.
topic. I think we'll get 50-50 on this.
Yeah, I'm like,
you can't give me any reason why, just yes or no.
oh, I can't even say why.
Okay, you can say why. Just can't be like maybe or it depends. It has to be
No,
yes. No. Why?
I'm only saying no if everything was normal. Like, I didn't have to use social media as a tool. But I just feel like it just brings too much into the world in terms of just being really toxic for people's mental health. And there's still other forms to contact people. And it's like everyone's just showing the highlights of the life. It's a highlight reel.
Yeah.
And you don't need to be living other people's highlight reels.
I agree with you in that aspect. I'm going to go with yes. I'm glad social media has been created, for all the good reasons I've said throughout this episode. I think it's, like I said, it just needs to be managed a little bit better. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the 1PT2 podcast, the 2PT podcast. I can't get the name right. I've not had my morning coffee. But yeah,
You're 23 episodes in and Miles still doesn't
I
know the
still
name of
can't
it.
say it. It's a doom from the start. But yes, very interesting topic today. It was a discussion that we obviously wanted to have and stuff like that. As always, we end the conversation by not resorting anything by the matter. But I don't think it's one of them things you can resort. It's one of the things that's ongoing and only can either be improved or, yeah, more going on now. But anyway, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you give us a like. If you've got anything to say about the podcast, make sure you give us a comment or a review. And make sure you subscribe and share this with everyone that you know. But until next time, on the next episode of, we'll see you guys later. So, peace, love, and keep yourself safe. Ta.
Legendary!